Oops, I should have started the video.
Good morning. We have a very exciting show today.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. We have a special guest with us. Kevin Horan is here from First Priority, but also Chuck is here and there. We appreciate you logging in from Scout Haven and getting us all set up today. So realtors have many hats, including scout leaders.
Absolutely.
I want to give a shout out to the arcade office. I had to go off campsite yesterday to get something, and I drove right by the office. I popped in. Brenda was having a great meeting with her agents. They were talking about the EBA and all that, and we had I was just saying hi, and we had a nice discussion. And so, hey everybody, all our realtors and team at the arcade office, which is right around the corner from here.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate Chuck taking care of our technology. And so he's going to be kind of bowing out for, there he goes. And Kevin and I are going to be here. So if you haven't had the pleasure of meeting Kevin Horan yet, I'd like to introduce you to Kevin Horan. He is our regional sales manager with First Priority. And he has visited in Buffalo and Rochester. So welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. I just figured out the other day, I've been in this industry doing the same thing for 35 years. Wow. And when Chuck was telling me he was at Scout Haven, I said, oh my gosh, I used to go to Scout Haven when I was like 11, 12 to up to 18 years old. I was at Scout Haven. So boy, time does fly, doesn't it?
Yes. But those, I think when I was a kid, I went to summer camp, and some of those summers, it's life-changing. The friends you make, the activities you do. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. So thank you to Chuck for being a troop leader for his troop and taking them there. And Kevin, I'm glad it's had a good impact on your life.
Absolutely.
We are here to talk about a few things, and I think it's good timing. Our last show, we really talked about buying a home. We talked about the consultation process with your agent. We talked about how you look at a house and how you work through shopping for a house and buying a house. And today we're going to get a little more specific on how you pay for a house, right? How you found the house that you love, and now who
just a little thing,
that money, right?
Yeah, just a little thing,
just a little thing. So we want to talk a little bit about the process, right? So many people have been talking more than ever about exclusive buyer agency, about having representation, even though that is something, especially where we are here in New York State. Buyer agency has been around, quite a bit. All right, Chuck. So buyer's agency has been around, and the concept of representation, no matter what you're buying, has been around for a long time, right? Kevin, we know you're a car guy, right? You probably have someone you go to when you're looking for a car, and you feel that person's representing you in finding what you're needing. And today, consumers, and like you said, are even more aware of the choice and representation. So we think it's smart to have an agent working on your behalf buying a house, okay? We also think it's very smart to have a Howard Hanna realtor helping you. And because of one of the things we're going to talk about today was our relationship with First Priority. The fact that you can meet with one person who can guide you to attorneys, home inspectors, banks, title, insurance, all types of partners to make the transaction smoother, easier, and go that way. So if you're using a Howard Hanna agent, you found the house. And even at the beginning, you talked about financing, right? Like, so let's start there. We talked last week, you meet with your agent, you talk about what you want, and then you need to get pre-qualified, right? So tell us just a little bit about someone. I say, you know what, Kevin, I just talked to my friend Judy. She wants to buy a house. I would like you to give her a call. How does
Perfect.
that even start? So when Judy gets the phone call from you, what should she expect to happen?
Yeah. So the first thing that I love to do and all my team does, we like to ask a lot of questions, Lisa. It's simple things like, have you done this before? Do you own a house? If you owned a house in the past, what are you really doing? Do you have anything in mind? It's amazing. Like, we do get like 25% of the folks that, oh my God, I found a house I love and I want to buy it. And they've never talked to a bank before. So it's an interesting thing. So number one is we do a lot of fact finding, things like, where do you live? Who do you work for? We look at ideas like we have to look at your credit report, of course. We have to take a look and see what we can do to help you with your credit if there's some, blemishes that we have to get through. Simple things like we talked about. How much money do you have saved up for the new home? You may have $30,000, but you really don't only want to spend 20. So the more we ask, and it's funny, I think I know more about the consumer than anyone else ever. I know more about them than their family does, just because they tell us everything, Lisa, because this is not the time to, I don't want to tell the bank, maybe I had, a bankruptcy, oh my gosh, 6 years ago because I had a health issue. They tell us everything we need to know to figure out which particular program. So we do a lot of that. And because we care about them, of course, we care about the agents, we care about the consumer. The reason we do this is to make sure that we're all on the same page. We walk them through the process.
I think you bring up a good point. One of the things we've been talking about lately, when you have your buyer representation, is the duties that you have between you and your agent. As a fiduciary, you have confidentiality. I mean,
right.
To me, and I say this, kind of ha, but I mean, seriously, it's like when you go to your doctor, you don't hold back on your symptoms with your doctor, because your doctor needs to know everything so that she can diagnose what's going on with you. And from what I heard you just say, that's, again, we need to be able to tell you everything so you can diagnose our financial health, and you have that confidentiality with us as well. I'm sure you're not at a cocktail party saying, oh my gosh, could you believe Lisa's balance on her whatever card? Like, you have confidentiality as well. And it is important that our clients are completely open with you, because sometimes they tell you things like, that's a good thing, right? Like, hey, that's going to help you, right?
Yeah. And we come up with ideas on solutions, because you know what? Nobody has a perfect life. And so there may be some challenges with your credit. You may be a little bit overextended on certain things. We have a lot of great ideas that at the end of the day, people actually thank us. Say, thank you for taking the time and actually talking to me. Just like my agent at Hanna did, you're doing the same thing. Why? Because this is probably the biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your life, is to buy a home and how to finance it. And there's so many programs out there. I mean, we have, conventional FHA, VA, Sunny Mae, broker loans, credit union loans. It's up to us to ask the questions to figure out, hey, we might want to do this, you might want to do that, and we walk them through. People are getting divorced because life happens, right? Tragedy happens. I just talked to someone the other day. Life happens to all of us. And so the more you tell us, the more it's easier and the better experience you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, just again, the agent, the MC, loan officer, money guy, whatever we call you. It's that partnership. It's that team approach. And again, I love the communication between the client, you, and the agent is updated on the process from start to finish. Now, when we talk about buying a house, right? You've got down payments, you've got escrow deposits, you've got closing costs, you've got tax escrows, all those different things that come into play. Correct. And sometimes that is a very big number to start, right? And then you've got your monthly payment. And again, different things are going to be important to different people. Like, what is more important? That money I need at the beginning? Is it the monthly payment? What is it? I know when rates are low, people are very easy. We want to put as little down as possible. Rates go up a little bit. Hey, maybe I'm going to put more of a down payment. And then also I know that you can talk about refinancing. Sure. Maybe the rate is, hovering around 7 today, but if you buy the house today, you can always refinance later, right?
Absolutely. And we give you a discount if you want the first priority. You mentioned a couple key points there, Lisa, and I think the communication, the reason that over 90% of the people like one-stop shopping is because they don't want to keep going over their story over and over and over again. Like, how much do you know? What don't you know? And so by dealing with the same team, we can all work together on obviously making this the best transaction. You're buying your dream home. You want to make this an exciting time and get through the hurdles. We ask a lot of questions. You know what? Sometimes you think, oh my God, I can't believe they're asking for this piece of paper. Well, yeah. Everything we ask for is important. And the more knowledge that we have, like my loan officers do, the easier it's going to go through. You give us all the information up front so that by the time you get the approval in a week or two, with what we call the commitment, there's basically not a lot you have to do. That's what it's all about. One thing I do want to say, Lisa, that I have to say is it's amazing to me how many people we talk to that may have already went to their bank and they have no clue, unfortunately, about how much money they need, what their payments are going to be. I have people say, well, I can't afford that. I'm like, but that's what your bank told you. You came to me. I said, I'm just letting you know that payment is going to be this. Oh, I didn't know that. That's too much. I said, okay, so maybe this is not the price range for you. Let's start over. Forget about everything that you may know, and then just start fresh. And it seems to work out better that way sometimes.
Yeah, I agree because, there are many times, especially, I shouldn't say especially, in all levels of buying, the bank tells you can afford this, right? And then the buyer will say, yeah, but I still want to eat. Like, I still want to go on vacation. Like, so there are many times where it's like, yes, I could do that, but I choose not to. And then there are other times where you say, no, I do want to stretch because maybe I'm new in my job and I know I'm on a track that I'm going to earn more. And I would rather, buy my second house first and move less frequently. And so that's why it's that conversation. What's comfortable for you? Sure. Now, no matter what you do, there are fees and there are expenses. And I'm super excited that you have a program where you want to help people with those upfront costs. And that again goes to why a partnership. This is confetti worthy, Chuck. We want to talk about our Buy, Borrow, and Bundle. So this is a partnership between Howard Hanna and First Priority and the borrowers to get them going into their new house. So let's talk a little bit about it. We have all kinds of promotional information talking about it that your Howard Hanna agent or your First Priority MC has for you. But why don't you give us a summary? Tell us about the bundle.
As I mentioned, I've been in it 35. Oh, look at confetti. Like it. I've been doing this for 35 years. Most of my staff has got the same numbers behind them. I've never in my career have been able to say this. This is the most exciting one. And we always get excited about things, but I've never been able to say this. It's a fairly simple idea. The idea is that when the consumer wants to get to know the agent, wants to get to know me, they're going to sign a buyer agreement, which is simple. The agent will explain what that's all about. And you know what? We can then save them up to $10,000 off their closing costs. Okay. It's actually 0.5% of the total loan amount is we just take off the bottom and off the top rather. The whole idea is how do I pay for this new home? How do I get people into homes when everything's becoming more and more expensive? Well, if you use a Hanna agent and you use a First Priority loan officer, and by the way, we deal with up to 15 different lenders, okay? We take care of everything in-house from start to finish, but then after closing, whoever gave us the best deal for the consumer, that's where the loan goes. And we got a pile of different banks. So we're not stuck with one lender. We have multiple lenders based on your situation and things of that nature. So this half a point comes right off. and it's a big number. Okay. The average loan amount, everything, you're probably looking at anywhere between $1,500, $3,000 to be fair, depending on in Western New York.
Right.
I just did a $500,000 loan. That would have been $5,000. So it's a big number. And what do you have to do? You just have to deal with the expert Howard Hanna agent and the expert first priority loan officer. That's what you have to do. We take care of the rest. So it is a game changer that just happened. I have my buddies, of course, in the other banks said, how are you guys doing this? And you got to remember, Howard Hanna is a family-owned business, and they want to help families. I know it sounds corny, but that's just the way it is. They're like, how can we do this? How can we get our agents more involved? How can we get our mortgage company more involved? In this case, First Priority Mortgage in New York State. How do we do this? And so it's a really neat thing. So we do the pre-qual. You get some paper signed. We then turn it into a pre-approval. What does that really mean? We like to get documents before you find a house, pay stub, W-2s, easy stuff. And then we turn it into a pre-approval letter. It's a little bit stronger letter. We can get into that another time. I don't have the time to go through the difference, but it's a big deal. So we're excited about giving away a 0.5 point. And, at the end of the day, it's going to be a game changer. We're already getting the phones to ring more now than ever before. So, I feel like an internet bank that does things, but we know we're doing it right. So it's pretty exciting.
It is. It is. And, First Priority, you've been part of our business for a long time. Now the strength of Hanna Financial. Hanna Financial in 13 states. We have a few different names as we travel around the country, but it's all the same, family to family, right? Family owned company, families buying houses. And, I consider myself a family of one when I bought my house. So there's no stipulations on any of that. Right. But it's that idea that we're local, we're helping local buyers, borrowers, and we want them to bundle and save some money. Because again, sometimes that number, when we talk about what it costs with down payment and the expenses of getting in, and maybe you want to maybe it's your choice, right? Like, I want to put 10% down, 20% down. I'm trying to get a lower mortgage, or it might be, hey, it's my first house, or for whatever my financial planner has said, hey, don't, keep your money over here and get your mortgage over there. These are all personal decisions that you discuss with your realtor, your attorney, your financial planner, and your mortgage consultant to talk about what's my strategy. I probably was one of on your pieces recently, but over time, real estate, your primary home, is still one of your best investments, right? Like many of us have a 401k or stocks, or we've got money in other places, bonds, but your home, not only is it providing shelter, it is also an investment, and so you want to talk to your investment professionals about the best way to buy it.
Yeah, this program is designed, we can do almost every loan we have. There's a couple unique loans that we can't offer it on, but the loan officer will get into that. But they're so rare that most of the time we don't even have to go there. But there is some programs that doesn't allow it, but very few, very, very few that I'm not going to get into now. But it's a case by case. We'll have that discussion with the consumer. But, you're doing it right. We survey everyone. At least I gotta say this because of the audience that we have. We survey everyone because we like numbers and we want to know how good we did or how poor we did. And, year to date, we're like 4.82 out of 5. So out of 5, we're at 4.82. Yes.
That's awesome.
Goal is to do 5 for everyone. But you know what? Things happen. There's a problem at a closing. There's title issue. All these weird things that they love to blame the bank. We're like, not us, but it's okay. So we're at 4.82 right now, year to date, on how people love us and how they refer more business to us. So we're very good at what we do. Our timeline is very tight. We get people in and out. You know what? I'm taking a loan right now, Lisa. It's just important to know that another lender said no to. And I'm looking at this like, oh, no, just do this and this. And now you can buy a home. They're so excited. And they have their approval in 2 days because they're nervous because the other bank already said no after they applied with that lender. So they got to be able to sleep. So I put it on a quick path. We'll have an answer within about 2 days, 3 days at the latest, just to make everyone feel better. Because right now they didn't they think they can't get their dream home, and we're here to make dreams happen. So
Yes.
I'm excited about that one.
You know, and thank you.
I don't know where this comes from, but it's cool.
The magic. It's the
Yeah.
magic. You know, I want to go back to a couple of things you said, because, you know, we don't always have the opportunity to talk to someone in your position who is making decisions, helping people. And I feel it would be a mistake if I didn't ask you a few more questions. We still are in, our markets have been changing very regionally the last few months. Even just looking, and I would guess you're seeing that also, the difference in the markets, even between Buffalo and Rochester. We had one of our managers from Virginia Beach on last month. That market is very different. Now, if we're in Long Island, I mean, we have such differences. But in many cases, we still have very, fast markets, competitive markets, multiple offer markets. And I know you just briefly talked about the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. And I want to say, as on the realtor side, that pre-approval is worth the effort, because if you are in a multiple offer situation and your buyer's agent is trying to get you this house, we want to make the best case possible to select this offer. A pre-qualification and a pre-approval are viewed differently by that listing agent. And I want to make sure I know the right answer. I think I do.
Okay.
When you go from pre-qual to pre-approval, you're gathering information that you're going to need anyway when you make your application, correct?
Absolutely.
So it's not like you're asking me for more. You're just getting it sooner.
Yeah, we're getting it up front. Why? Because, Lisa, you could tell me you make $60,000 a year, and I will, I'll say, okay, I'll write it down. But until I can actually see the pay stubs and actually see the W-2s, that number may change. It is amazing to me also how many people don't know exactly what they make. And remember, we deal with numbers. Numbers matter. And so we ask a lot of questions for a reason. We don't want any hiccups along the way, because that's like the worst thing that can happen in the mortgage industry, is to approve somebody like this other lender did, pre-qualified them, never did a pre-approval, end up 2 weeks into the deal, says, oh, we can't do the loan. Way too much emotion. Forget about the money that the client spent on an appraisal. Just the emotion itself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I told everyone I'm buying ABC Main Street, and now I can't buy it. So
right.
It's the reason that we ask you for documents. And you know what? And our customers are very willing to do it. Why? Because we had great conversation. They know we keep everything confidential. And we say, by the way, this is in your best interest. Why? Because when you have the multiple offer, Lisa, that you're mentioning, it's a strong lender. It's a strong offer. When they see our name on a piece of paper as a listing agent, I don't care what listing agents out there in Western New York, upstate New York, they feel comfortable. Why? Because we're local and they know how to get a hold of us, and they can call us and say, Kev, is this a good client? And you know what? And I look it up and I say, absolutely. They're very strong. No confidant. I don't tell them credit score. You don't get into, I say it's a very strong buyer. You should not have any issues at all. And so we do what we have to do to help them buy that house.
You know what I love too, and it's an easy thing for me to say, especially today, because your team, your mortgage consultants throughout our company, they're in our offices. Like, I've heard mine walk by the hallway a couple times now. So he's in the building. So it's not even like you said, internet bank, right? Like, it's not like I have to call an 800 number and get transferred 4 times before I get to the person who's working on the file. I literally walk down the hall and say, Sean, what's the update? Such and such agent is having a question, and locally, the person standing in your own office can answer those questions. And the same thing, whether it's that agent asking a question or the consumer, they know how to get a hold of their person. We text our MCs, right? A loan officer might be texting a client, hey, I need this, I need that. I think, we all use examples from our real life, right? Like, my kids are 28 and 30, and I don't know if they've ever seen a paper pay stub, right? So when the MC says, hey, we're going to need pay stubs, like, I'm sure it's a little bit of, oh, let me go into my work portal. Let me go into my whatever payroll system to print. I mean, does that question come up to you? Like, how do I get this?
It's like bank statements. Nobody gets their bank statements. And so they go to their banking online, and half of them print up the wrong numbers. I said, No, it doesn't have your name on it, doesn't have your address on it. I know how much money that somebody has. I said, you got to go in and find the word statement and reprint those. Oh, okay. I get that a lot. I laugh but I do get that.
Yeah, I do remember one time I was in the office. The MC was meeting with an agent and their client. And actually, the client brought their laptop in because they're like, you know what? I'm having trouble finding exactly what you're looking for. So the client logs in, the MC's sitting there. Okay, print this, print that. And now, actually, that was a few years ago. Now, I think with the way you collect documents, sometimes there is no intermediate printing, correct? Like people
Correct.
are
Yeah, they
uploading
actually
documents?
can scan directly into our portal. So we have a very secured portal. They don't have to email it. They don't have to text it to me. They can put it right in the portal. I don't touch it. I love that way to do it, Lisa, because it gets where it needs to be. And I don't have to, I don't touch paper anymore,
Right.
So
right.
It's a wonderful
It helps
thing.
with security, helps with that confidentiality, and it's fast. If you
Correct.
tell me, just like you said, that you can be walking them through on their phone, here's where to find it and here's how to upload it. And again, I think I'm anomaly. I did get rid of my home phone, but I do still have a home printer.
I know. Mine broke the other day. I'm like, oh, again, I got to buy another printer. I don't know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Well, Kevin, I know you're busy because like you said, you've got a lot of people calling about the buy borrow bundle. It is, it's one of those things where you think, is it too good to be true? But it's not. You're doing what you were going to do anyway. You're hiring a Howard Hanna agent to be your buyer representative. You're working with a top local lender to get you the money that you need. And then you're going to get a thank you gift of a 0.5%. I like off the bottom. When you were saying off the bottom or off the top, that bottom number is what I need to come up with at closing. So yes, take it off the number I need to walk in with, please.
Exactly.
And it's as simple as that, right? So,
absolutely.
Kevin, we like to make sure that our guests stay engaged with our audience. We know that we've got people watching live right now on Facebook. They could be watching on either one of our YouTube channels. Both Chuck and I share it to our YouTube channels, but we also get people watching throughout the day, week, at times that are convenient for them. And we always promise that we're going to respond to their comments. And so, Kevin, we're going to ask you to help us out with that as well. So we want you helping us monitor those comments, questions, chat, and answer the questions as people pop in. Go to ask your Howard Hanna agent, ask your MC about this program. Again, one or two little ones that we because of that particular program, we can't do it, but usually those programs have other perks that make it the best choice for you. And again, the MC is going to say, well, this, we've got 10, 15, 40 options. What's going to be the best one for you? And it very well may be our bundle program. And they might say, you know what, for you, Lisa, you need XYZ. So that's what I like. I like that catered person. Wow. From Scout Haven, we got the hook. So I guess that means it's time to go.
Okay. It's all good.
And again, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. And any questions, please reach out, Kevin or I. Chuck and I will be back next week with more Western New York Real Estate Show. Thanks, everybody, and cheers.
Thank you, Lisa.